this is Neve of the Stay-at-Home Family with the 30th edition of the Scientific Happiness Project. So when I started this project, I was a little nervous about constantly having stuff to say and stuff to share, and I still have so much to say and share, and we're already on video 30, so exciting times. What I really wanted to share today is we've talked a lot about neural pathways, neural nets, these connections that we have in our brain. And I want to talk to you about the voice inside of your head. So if you don't think you have a voice inside of your head, then I'm just going to give you a minute to listen to it. So did you hear anything? What was being said then? Maybe you were saying, oh, Neve's back in front of the red wall. I wonder why she's not in her car today. I wonder where she's at. I wonder when she's actually recording this. Or maybe you were saying, her eyes look a little baggy. Maybe that's because she was up on the women's lounge until 2:30 in the morning last night. Or maybe you were thinking about what's going on for you. Or whatever was coming up there is the voice inside of your head. Now, there's a really cool thing that can happen for you when you realize that the voice inside of your head is not actually you. And that's a little bit of a hard one to wrap your head around. For me, this kind of happened when I was about 8 years old. And it's also like incredibly hot in here. I'm gonna have to go all zen to cool myself down. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so when I was 8 years old, I learned meditation because my mom had a group of people, a group of women who would meditate together, and they were teaching their children meditation. And what always used to happen for me is I would sit down and they'd say, okay, clear your mind of all thoughts. And I'd be like, okay. And then it wouldn't happen. There'd be a lot of thoughts. And some of the thoughts would be not so nice thoughts. And as I was noticing that thoughts would come up, instead of letting them go like people would tell us to do, it would connect me to the next thought and the next thought, and then I would start to think about how bad I was that I couldn't clear my thoughts, because I didn't really understand as an 8-year-old that it's okay that your mind is always going. So then bad things would come up, or I'd be thinking bad things about myself, or I'd be thinking incredibly rude things, And then I was like, wow, what kind of a person am I? I'm supposed to be meditating, I'm supposed to be all spiritual and zen, and I'm like thinking really nasty thoughts. Like they're just coming up, I can't control it. And it was incredibly difficult for me, and actually for a long time, this created in me kind of a belief that the nice girl that everyone thought I was not actually who I am. Who I was this horrible, nasty person who would think horrible, nasty thoughts that I couldn't control. And what I realize now, I didn't at the time, but what I realize now is that that was connections happening. So I was going, I can't clear my mind. My mom is telling me it's time to clear my mind. I can't do it. What's wrong with me? Does that mean that I'm a bad person? What does a bad person think? And then all of a sudden I'm on to thoughts that my version of a bad person would think. Basically just for me, as an 8-year-old, it was all the swear words I knew popping into my head because I would never ever speak them, but I'd heard them before and I knew that they were bad. So then they would pop into my head and I'd be like, oh my gosh, where is this coming from? It was crazy. It was funny now, but at the time it was like, oh, what is wrong with me? So all that was a neural pathway of association. So I was associating the fact that I couldn't do the task at hand to maybe this means I'm bad, to what does a bad person think, to thoughts that, little Neve thought a bad person would think, right? So what's really important is to realize that this voice that's happening inside your head is you experiencing your machine working. Your brain does work a little bit like a robot sometimes. So what it does is it is in the process of trying to process all the information that's coming in and spit it out in a helpful way. And it does that via association, via searching for associated neural pathways. So that might be why sometimes we think things that we don't want to think because we've got these already there kind of associations that pop up for us, and then we're spun down this spiraling thing to thoughts that we don't necessarily want to have, thoughts that are not necessarily constructive. Maybe it's things that have allowed us to feel safe in the past. Maybe it's things that have allowed us to try and avoid something bad that happened to us in the past. Maybe, you know, something comes up, like it could be someone, you know, maybe someone has achieved like wealth that you want to achieve, but the last time you tried to do it, last time you tried to start your own business or something, the bank manager laughed you out of the bank, and it was painful in that moment because you felt bad about who you were in that moment because someone else was mocking you. And then you associated that mocking to pursuing your dreams, and then all of a sudden when you see someone else pursuing their dreams, you think it's funny, or you get this kind of ick feeling, or you kind of go down this pathway of all the reasons why you can't do it. So it's a funny thing because you can't turn it off. It's still going to continue to talk. But you can understand that it's not who you are. You know, there's other times when thoughts will pop up and you will recognize them. Thoughts that bubble up from your subconscious and your unconscious. They come to you when your kind of conscious mind is a little bit distracted. When you are washing the dishes, or in the shower, or in the car, or quite often when you wake up from sleep, where you suddenly have this insight or this whole and complete picture of what you can do to achieve what you want. And that comes to you from your unconscious and from your subconscious by what you've put in. And you will recognize it because it feels completely different. It arrives, instead of like being chatter, it arrives as this like almost complete picture. For me, that's what it does. For you, it might be something else, but you will recognize it. It doesn't sound like chatter. It's not someone talking, coming to a conclusion. It's just a, oh, what about this? And that can kind of expand into a bigger picture as you spend time kind of mulling it over and processing it. So the important lesson in all of this is simply to not worry about the automatic thoughts that are happening, because that is your brain simply trying to process everything that's happening to you to make sure you avoid ever feeling bad. And the thing is that it stops you from ever feeling good, because it makes you spend a lot of time focused on how to avoid the bad, how to avoid the bad feeling, how to avoid looking bad to other people. And it brings up guilt. It brings up not liking yourself. It brings up all these things for you. So when you hear it telling you something that is, you know, is a belief or something that's not a thought that's not going to serve you, you tell that voice, okay, thank you for sharing that. And let it go. Now the truth is, sometimes it's hard to let it go. And you can use different tricks to help let it go. One that I like is imagining a river flowing through my head that way out of me. And then the little thought turns into a leaf and it flows away. And then sometimes it comes back and it turns into a leaf and flows away again. Or some I put into a little box. I have a cardboard packing box and I put the thought in, close it over, say, I will come back to you later, thought, but right now, you are not serving me. So you have to just understand that you are much deeper and more than this voice. And then it can't control you. It's still going to talk, but it can't control you. So that's what I have today, and it does relate to happiness, I promise, because when you can disassociate that voice with who you are, it's very powerful. And then you can it can really help you choose your emotions. It can help you feel free and feel like you and not worry about what your thoughts say about you. This is such a long video, so I should just shut up now, but I love you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the Facebook fan page. Thank you for supporting me through 30 videos. Your responses keep me going. Man, they're amazing. So I will see you guys in the next video.